All right, welcome back, everybody. We're continuing our discussion of Bill Cosby's attempt to throw out his convictions. His appeal is being heard by the highest court in Pennsylvania. The oral arguments are happening today. And I wanted to take a little bit more time to address the conclusion of this because, Neama, let me turn to you on this. This is interesting. I want to ask you a two-part question. Let's say he's successful. Let's say he's successful and the court agrees with him. What could happen to his case? Do his convictions get thrown out? Does he get a new trial? What happens then? And what would that trial look like? But number two, and maybe this is more important, if the court agrees with him that these other accusers shouldn't have testified, does that mean that other courts in other states, like the Harvey Weinstein situation in New York, will say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't have allowed all these other accusers to testify as to uncharged conduct. Maybe he should get a new trial. Walk us through the aftermath if Bill Cosby has a successful verdict from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
If the Pennsylvania Supreme Court reverses Bill Cosby's conviction, I expect the prosecution to retry the case. It's going to be a much more challenging case with one victim. And most of the time in sexual assault, you don't have a lot of corroborating evidence aside from the victim's own testimony. So testimony of one victim can be challenging to get a conviction, and that's why prosecutors love these prior bad acts witnesses. They like to pile on and overwhelm the defense, and that's how they secure guilty convictions in this case, both for Bill Cosby and for Harvey Weinstein. Now, the law in Pennsylvania is a little bit unsettled with respect to these prior bad acts witnesses. So if the conviction is overturned, it's not binding on another state or controlling on New York courts, for instance, but it would be persuasive authority that I'm sure appellate attorneys would point to try to get Weinstein's conviction overturned as well, because one of the big fights and challenges in that case was this very same issue: how many prior bad acts witnesses could come testify against Harvey.
Well, I don't expect that we're going to get a decision from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for several months, but we'll be watching what we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I know people like in Harvey Weinstein's position may be looking as well. All right, now I want to turn to something else. There's a conclusion to